18 ноября 1994 года состоялся один из самых интересных и зрелищных поединков в истории бокса. Встретились два непобежденных мастера сладкой науки – Джеймс Тони и Рой Джонс-младший. На момент боя Тони занимал второе место в рейтинге Pound for Pound, в то время как Джонс был третьим. Для Джонса поединок с Тони стал дебютом во втором среднем весе. До этого Джонс был чемпионом мира в первом среднем весе и имел скальп еще тогда не столь искушенного Бернарда Хопкинса. На кону стоял титул IBF, которым владел Тони. Тони был небольшим фаворитом, так как имел больше опыта выступлений на профессиональном ринге. Также за его плечами были победы над такими монстрами, как Майкл Нанн, Майкл Маккалум и Айрон Баркли. Во время подготовки к бою с Джонсом Тони был больше занят борьбой с весом, чем непосредственно подготовкой к поединку. В начале тренировочного лагеря Джеймс весил порядка 95 кг, а на взвешивании должен был уложиться в лимит второго среднего веса – 76,2 кг. К слову, сам лагерь длился всего 6 недель, что категорически мало перед боем такого уровня. В те времена Тони вел не слишком правильный образ жизни, сильно разъедался между боями, посещая фастфуд, вечеринки и другие увеселительные заведения. Но вместе с тем он тяжело тренировался, часто проводил бои по 6-7 в год, то есть каждые 2-3 месяца, что позволяло ему более-менее держать вес в норме. Но к бою с Джонсом у Тони простой составил целых 4 месяца. Из-за этого он разъелся до неимоверных размеров и гонял вес до самого упора, плюс по ходу дела подхватил грипп. Боксеры отказались от фиксированных гонораров, сославшись на проценты от выручки с продажи платных трансляций. 45% Тони и 35% Джонс. Поединок собрал 300 тысяч pay-per-view. Интересный факт. Сразу через несколько дней после поражения от рук Джонса Тони угодил в полицию. Боксер был тщательно допрошен, ведь от его матери в полицию поступили сведения, что сын ушел из дома с пистолетом и намеревался убить своего промоутера Джеки Каллен. Тем не менее, никаких жалоб на Джеймса не поступало, и он был отпущен. Однако, после этого инцидента Тони и промоутер разорвали всякие профессиональные отношения.
But Tony looks like he knows what he wants to do. He wants to make him miss punches, feel his power a little bit before he starts opening up. He wants to let Roy Jones Jr. feel that he's in control. He's the one making him miss. He'll walk him down.
Steady body punching. And we'll see when he starts his assault downstairs as Roy Jones starting to pitch.
Has to break down the confidence of Roy Jones right now. Roy Jones is doing things that normally land on other fighters aren't landing on James Toни right away. That jump in left hook, that little right hand, and Tony's just kind of enjoying himself, making all that miss. Here, Roy Jones just adjusted that left hook and threw it a little bit lower because he knew Tony was ducking him. Jones has landed the only meaningful punches, but the round isn't over yet.
Good counter left hook there from Tony. Crime. Jones the aggressor here in round one. Tony yet to really put that body attack together.
Первый раунд прошел с подавляющим преимуществом Джонса. Тони пытался прорваться на ближнюю дистанцию и навязать драку в телефонной будке. Но Рой не велся на его провокации, хладнокровно и методично обстреливая Тони с дальней дистанции. Второй раунд начался с активных действий Джонса, и он делал на ринге, что хотел, заставив смотреться грозного панчера душителя Тони третий разрядник. Хотя это было далеко не так. Джеймс оставался опасен каждую минуту поединка.
Best moment that we've seen from Tony had to be against McCallum and also what he did against Iran Barkley.
But that style of Barkley was made to order for James Toни.
Good left foot from Tony. I notice when Jones throws his punches, Joe, he leaves his hands down.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, he just got with a little right hand, Jones did. Jones leans back so well on his right.
6 rounds. So he has 19 bouts that didn't quite make it past the midway point. And he'll perhaps get a test in that route tonight against Tony. Good lead, left hooks.
Beautiful movement by Roy Jones in the corner. He bounced off of one rope, bounced off the other, and came out of the corner before Tony knew what happened. But Tony's biding his time right now. He's got a
Good round of work. So far, Jones has asserted himself pretty well. Good combination from Jones. Tony into trouble. Jones now starting to come forward, landing some uppercuts inside, and Tony says, "Give me more." Is that all you got? Jones says, "Yeah, I'll take the round."
В начале третьего раунда Тони попытался сыграть по правилам Джонса, за что и был наказан.
Big left hook, and down goes Tony.
Here we go. Here's that little whoop-de-doo fake out. They're both faking. Look, and there goes Jones. And see, he kind of caught him and pushed him too. They bumped the bodies together. I don't think he was hurt as much. He was off balance, and then watch, see, and then the push there. And look at Tony, how strong he is, though. He doesn't go down because he knows that if he does go down, any part touches, it's a knockdown.
Jones actually played him into this, though. He suckered him into that by doing it himself. And Tony fell prey for it.
But it was definitely a push. The people might think he is here because he was fooling around.
You know, Jones actually surprised many people here, including myself, and I have to figure you're probably surprised at the power of Jones as well.
I'm not surprised at the power of Jones at all, but I am surprised that James Toни has taken this long to really put some pressure on. This is what he's got to do, just like that, to make this fight happen and get his counters in.
He's really getting hit by some counter shots from Jones here. Jones's hands and his feet, everything a lot quicker, and his confidence growing.
В одном из эпизодов Рой немного заигрался, и Тони смог попасть по нему чистым ударом. А против пикового Джонса это дорогого стоит. Данный факт лишний раз говорит нам о том, что Джеймс был далеко не чайник, а являлся очень квалифицированным спортсменом. В общем, большая часть боя прошла под полным контролем Джонса. Тони пытался подобрать различные ключи к Рою, но все его попытки не возымели успеха. Можно разве что отметить феноменальную защиту Тони, ведь его за последующие раунды Рой ни разу не смог толком потрясти. И Джеймс на каких-то животных инстинктах уходил от всех ударов Джонса.
The referee think that he doesn't have to step in and break him and then separate and give more room.
Good
Was that
left
left hook? It wasn't a strong left hook, but it was one that's aggravating and kind of demoralizing.
Jones is working that left hand. That's been his pet punch so far here through 3+.
Just when you think you should watch out for the hook, Jones will come with that straight right hand, and it's fast and hard.
3.5 years, Tony's been a champion. And they're talking to one another now. Good body work from Jones.
You see how he just put his arm around Roy Jones there? He can't. He's got to keep his hands in front of him and work. The closer Roy Jones gets to Tony is when he's got to start punching.
Big shot from Tony, his best punch of the fight. And Jones nods his head as if to say, nah, didn't feel much of it. Tony has perhaps the bigger one punch, but he's not really
Frustrating for James Toни right now.
2 minutes gone by here in the fourth. Tony's starting to assert himself again here.
As Roy Jones just landed 4, Jones's body immediately, not to wait.
Here's Jones. And scored by Jones back in round number 3, a left hook. This is not what Jones wants to do in the center of the ring with James Toни.
Well, Jones just missed a real quick flurry of punches, and Toni is so adept at slipping and rolling with punches. And here's where he's got to come out of that with his own punches. After he takes those 2 and 3 touches from Roy Jones, he's got to come back and shoot his own punches right back at Jones to even the score up, or you just keep falling behind.
Nice defensive ploy there by Jones. What I noticed is Jones will use his left hand, and both fighters gave away a guaranteed $2 million plus to take some gate receipts. And there's Toni getting hit with some lefts and some rights. Playing a decoy game, but Jones landing the back. And they trade inside, and the power of Toni being noticed there. Again, Toni landing. And Jones coming back with some offering. And they trade in the middle of the square. You have a talent that's somewhat undiscovered in Jones, even though we know who he is. A lot of the boxing people out there that are watching the fight right now, they're not that familiar with Roy Jones Jr.
I think the general public, you're right, has not very much knowledge of Roy Jones. But the boxing community, of course,
Situation if you're in Tony's corner, where you seem to be getting beat to the punch almost every time, like right there.
I'd say, hey, you know, you got a damn technique, and what you got to do is just assert your manhood on him at this point, rough him up, corner him, whatever it takes. If you got to grab him, hit him, you know, on the shoulders, arm, anything, but you've got to score your punches, and you can't do it by trying to counterpunch and be slick. You've got to really start taking chances at opening up and making the other guy open up, because obviously the superior talent is Jones. You're not going to beat him in a tactical game. So let's see if you can beat him at a rough game. Get in there and press him hard.
With the exception of the fourth round, perhaps every other round has been Jones's round. And here, in round 7, he comes out in the first minute, goes right back to work with the lefts and rights. Tony getting hit by some big shots from Jones in the center of the ring. Combination punching there by Jones.
Real well, but Tony's never been in with somebody this talented, with the exception of maybe Michael Nunn, who was doing the same thing to him, was getting around him, surrounding him, but Nunn ran out of gas, like I said later on, at the hand of James Toни working his body, which he's not doing in this fight against Roy Jones.
Roy Jones on the ropes here, and he's been able to. The left hook has been the best. Oh, shot there, and Tony hurt by that shot, swinging wildly. Some headshots, and they're piling up for Jones, the challenger. He backs Tony up, and this is not a scene that you'll see very often. Here comes Jones. Has Tony in his corner, pounding him to the head with left to right. Tony fires back a right hand.
Tony was riding out 99% of those punches, especially in the corner there. That was a little shot behind the head from Roy Jones, which doesn't do anybody any good. But right now, Tony isn't doing the smart thing, but he's doing what he thinks might work for him to get Jones to open up right in front of him instead of, right now, I would say that whatever it was or should have been covered earlier wasn't. And the fact of the matter is it should be the corner's job right now to try to help out his fighter and get any edge he can by talking to the referee.
Right hand.
See, the referee's going to jump in and break him if Tony doesn't do something. That's why when he finally gets in there, ooh.
Oh, big left hand from Tony, but not as big as it appeared.
Look at Steele, though. He's getting in the way too much here. He's got to let these guys fight a little bit more.
And that just fired up Roy Jones in the final 10 seconds.
Has to go in there and just rough him up, open him up, and get him into a slugfest somehow, which he did do last round. With that strategy, I would be really shocked if these judges didn't have a big lead for James Toни right now.
You mean for Jones?
Or for Roy Jones Jr., I'm sorry. James Toni, if I'm his corner man and I'm looking at it from a corner man standpoint, I'm saying you need a knockout. Whether the judge has it that way or not, as a corner man, my opinion is you need a knockout if I'm in James Toni's corner. And that's the perspective I'm looking at right now, is that he's way behind on points here.
The left eye of Toni is swelling, a lot of redness around it. For Jones, he's unmarked in the closing seconds here of round 9. Oh, good right hand coming out of the clinch inside from Jones, the challenger. Sneaky punch. He is very slick, Joe. 10-second count as lunging in the champion. He gets caught with the left and knocked into the neutral turnbuckle.
Well, Jones landed 2 rights and then slipped over to the left side and landed the left hook. You think he's not going to punch on the inside. He whips 3 and 4 punches to your belly. He backs off, jumps in. Oh, man. This is any trainer's worst nightmare, this type of fighter. And there's not many of them out there. Maybe Pernell Whitaker is as tricky as this kid.
Tony's right hand landing there, but he didn't really find the kisser with it. Closing seconds here of the 10th round. Whistling.
He's hard to catch. Look at the feet. Just watch his feet. They never stop. And once they do stop, he'll tie you up and then hit you. Look. Oh, beautiful left hook. He gets on both sides here.
This is incredible to see Tony get waxed like this on the ropes.
Tony got hit with a good right hand. I know he's a little stunned, but I know he's going to play possum here and come out of it with something. He just looked to do it, but Jones got his distance again because he knows that same very thing, that Tony was playing a little bit of possum off that good shot, but not enough to put him down or out.
Final minute here of round 11. Jones trading into the ring here.
Well, Richard Steele getting dangerously close, but they're both trading punches on the break there.
It's been all Roy Jones Jr. so far.
Oh boy, how many times has he done that to James Toни? Jumped in with that left hook. Tony's got nothing on his punches at this point either.
I think he's hurt now too, Joe. To the body and upstairs.
It's surprising, but then again, I think a lot of people kind of knew that Jones was the type of fighter that could pull this type of performance out of his hat.
And I get the impression that Jones wants to close out the show in grand fashion. Instead of moving, you see him throwing rights like that and landing.
Threw a right hand. Tony came back with a counter.
Oh, a smash. Left hook to the face from Jones. And Tony unable to come back with anything. It's been a boxing lesson so far here tonight. And it looks as though it's going to go in the books as an upset, slightly. Tony was about a 3-2 favorite in this fight. They opened the fight at even here at the MGM, and the public quickly jumped on Tony. And those, we're talking about some unhappy campers now. People that wagered on the champion because he is a beaten man.
Looking back on it, it's hard to bet against a guy, a winner like James Toни, especially with some of the brilliant things we've seen him do. But here we just saw the emergence of a true superstar in this game, and it's Roy Jones Jr.
Jones wants to finish in grand fashion here as he's starting to get more aggressive in the final 10 seconds.
Поединок окончился закономерной победой Джонса. Несмотря на внешнюю легкость, с которой победил Джонс, спустя много лет самым сильным противником в карьере он назвал Джеймса Тони.